In Japan, they have their own AI model for copyright that says, yes, bring it in because we're learning, we're training. The community needs to learn so that the individuals are served as long as the individual rights are not hurt. Hey, I'm Declan Dunn, and this is the AI Optimist. So right now you can open an AI in Japan and take in any copyrightable content and don't feel like you're doing anything dangerous as long as your intention is to train and to learn. So in a way, that's the engineer's paradise. That's the scenario I see US engineers talking about. Keep it open, do not charge for copyrighted content. Though that's so wrong because they're already making deals with the New York Times. Maybe that's still going on, but other people like Axios have brought deals where technology and money were exchanged. Reddit had a deal with Google. All of this contributes to content and they're getting paid. So at a macro level, the bigger players are definitely working it out because they have the lawyers working this like crazy. And they're waiting till the end and all that's figured out before how that impacts us creators. But that's what I want you to help out with copyright in the US and elsewhere this year, because in the US, they're making a big finding about this time next year. This is the year to put your voice out. Do you think that just taking copyrighted content without permission is allowed? How can we set up permission when we need billions and billions of pictures and documents and text? But how do we also encourage that creativity to happen? Because one thing you see with Japan's models is, yes, we stand up for AI and its copyright to be able to use copyrighted materials to get smart. And yes, we stand up for people who own the IP, the content, the copyright, and we're smart enough to do this on a case-by-case basis and figure it out. And I think that's where the US is heading, just moving a little bit slower. And we're saying no, but we can't stop this thing. It's out of the station. So what's my takeaway on this? I don't want us to turn all Japan, but I'm sure keeping an eye on it. And a lot of what the engineers have said made sense to me. If you put these models out, they can get smarter. They can do things for us. And I don't mean the whole eliminate people routine. I mean doing things that aren't worthy of our time in one sense, but even more importantly, aren't things that allow us to do what we need to do in our jobs, in our careers, in our lives. Whew.
And another question I get, can I use AI to grow my voice without losing it? And how can I keep my voice and my value without AI taking it? That's a personal question right there. You don't lose your voice because AI took it. And unless you're world famous, which most of us aren't, AI taking your voice isn't a problem. You developing your voice is. So if you think that AI is going to take it and replace you, what you're saying is I'm like everybody else, which no problem. We all are limited in creativity in one sense. And how much is original? How much information comes from other people? For example, Baroness Kidron, who's defending UK creators in Parliament, trying to fight for their rights, did a movie about Bridget Jones. That movie was drawn from the book Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Okay, that book is out of copyright, but the characters, Darcy, the names were all drawn from that book. And there was a Pride and Prejudice movie which Baroness Kidron saw and influenced her openly. Now, was she taking it? Did she devalue Pride and Prejudice? Did she devalue that movie that was done before? Or did she add what her essence is, what her originality is? Perspective, perception, point of view. Your perception is what separates you from everyone else. We need your perception. So while you can be influenced, if AI is going to take it, then there wasn't much to take anyway. Because if your voice is really that original and people love it, that is something called trust. And if you focus on developing trust and understanding and appreciation for what you do, AI can't take that. Sure, people can pretend to create it out of thin air, but even like Baroness Kidron, she's creating an original movie inspired by another piece. But they're not giving your whole piece out. This is the thing. People make a mistake. It's not all in there. They don't take your book and keep it in a database. It's put into these different parts and they associate them together. And sure, it can pop up and be something else. It can actually create work. But even in the New York Times lawsuit against OpenAI, they were only able to pull out about 20% of their content from an article. And they knew how to hack it. They knew how to play it. It's really hard to get an entire piece out. I would suggest that you're limiting yourself by thinking AI can do that and that people are waiting there to take your stuff. If you're famous, you're J.K. Rowling writing Harry Potter, sure. Then you might have something because you've created a financial means of being. But will AI take all your work before you reach that? It wouldn't want it until you get big. And that's when people start entering it. And in a way, are they really going to take the Harry Potter series? I don't think so. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. I'm not trying to push this off, but I think it's a big excuse to say, oh, I can't do anything because AI is going to take it. You're accepting a future being painted by people who don't know what the future is, who are hoping it turns out that way. But the idea that it will steal everything in your creativity, it can't do what you do. It can't steal creativity, emotions, feelings. It can only take those little words and put them together in patterns.
Once upon a time, in a world where clay could giggle and computers could dream, a gentle artist and a clever inventor were about to discover something magical, that their gifts were even more powerful when shared with each other.
The clay and the code. In a world made of soft, colorful clay lived a kind artist named Fiora. With her nimble fingers and a heart full of ideas, she molded whimsical creatures and vibrant scenes. Each pinch, each roll brought a new friend to life, full of charm and cheer like no one else had ever seen. Fiora loved to share her creations with the world. She carefully photographed her clay friends and posted them online, where they sparkled and shone, bringing smiles to faces near and far. Her art was a gift, freely given and widely adored. Far away, in a room filled with blinking lights and whirring sounds, lived Algernon, an AI engineer. He was building clever machines that could learn and create, but they needed lots and lots of examples to understand the world. One day, while searching for beautiful patterns for his AI to learn from, Algernon stumbled upon Fiora's delightful claymation art. Perfect, he thought. So much creativity, so many unique shapes and colors. Algernon's AI, like a tiny digital vacuum cleaner, began to collect Fiora's art, along with countless other creations from the internet. It sucked up all the colors, shapes, and styles, storing them away in its vast digital brain. Algernon was pleased. His AI was learning so fast. But Fiora started to notice something strange. Her unique claymation style, her special way of making things, was appearing in places she hadn't put it. AI-generated images looking almost like her own popped up online. A little cloud of confusion and sadness floated over her head. Algernon's AI grew smarter every day, creating amazing new things. Yet something felt missing. The AI's creations were technically perfect, but they lacked the warmth, the unique spark, the feeling that Fiora's original art had. He scratched his head, a thoughtful frown on his face. Algernon realized while his AI could learn from the art, it couldn't truly understand the artist's heart without asking. He decided he needed to talk to the creators, especially Fiora, whose art had inspired him so much. Fiora and Algernon met, a little nervously at first. Algernon explained how her beautiful art had helped his AI learn and grow. Fiora, in turn, shared how it felt when her creations were used without her knowing, like a piece of her heart was borrowed without permission. Algernon truly understood. He proposed a new way, working together. Fiora could share her art, knowing it was valued and respected. And Algernon's AI could learn with permission, creating even more wonderful things. They shook hands, ready to build a future where clay and code dance together.
Until next time.